What up, bro? I'm David Scandura.
I'm Justice Lawn.
And today, we're here to find out if Pain and Gain's the greatest movie ever made, bro.
Jesus Christ himself has blessed me with many gifts. One of them is knocking someone the fuck out.
How's my Marky Mark?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. Anytime I do a Mark Wahlberg impression, I'm like, I feel like I'm going too high, and then I see him in a movie, and I'm like, no, his voice is just kind of like that.
The sky's really the limit with him.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that the Southie kind of is reined in a lot in this movie, but then when he's beating all of those kids at neighborhood basketball, it comes right the fuck out. When he's like, I see your mother driving up and down the street staring at me. I'm going to be your stepfather by the end of the week. I was like, oh, there he is. There's the fucking South Shore's finest right
The
there.
asshole cop in The Departed. Yeah.
Masshole, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, boy. Mark Wahlberg, welcome back to the show, my man.
Welcome back, buddy. We're going to have some things to say about you.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah.
I'm David. Welcome to the greatest movie ever made. That's how we start the show.
Yep.
Movie that is
the show where
we tell you. God. The show where we tell you.
We watch a movie.
Watch a
tell
movie
you if it's
and
a
tell
great-
you. Hold on. Scratch that. Reverse it.
All right.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
Welcome to the greatest movie ever made. The show where we watch a movie and tell you if it's the greatest movie ever made.
Yep. Sorry, I had planned to interject with something, and I no longer remember what it was.
Oh, okay. A movie that is so thoroughly entertaining and compelling that while you're watching it, it's the only thing that matters in the world. I am your host, David Scandura, joined by my co-host and my Eldad, Justice Burkett.
Pepe, it's Eldad. Oh man, is the Rock?
Let's just cross this one off the fucking list.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson, never better.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen the Smashing Machine yet.
Right, and people also say he's really good in Southland Tales.
Yes.
Like his early stuff when he's kind of more interested in taking risks.
Right. Of the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson performances I have seen, I would say this is the best one. Probably easily the best one. He's hilarious in this movie. Like, I think he's so funny in this movie in a way that, like, Dwayne Johnson as a comedic actor, right? Mostly my experience with that is relegated to like his like Disney family film type shit, right? And all of that is always pretty noxious to me. Like it's pretty it feels toxic, you know? And I hate it. And this movie, he's like on a different he's in a different comedic zone in this one. But he's also not just doing his like meathead action hero thing. He's like, I like that he seems to be self-aware about playing a huge fucking idiot in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like his career, and his place in pop culture is quite similar to the great Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
And I think they are both very good at weaponizing their natural charisma and charm.
And also just the size
Right.
and insane proportions of their bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
You are just naturally drawn to me because of how big I am. And
Right.
I'm going to use that as an entryway and then introduce you to my personality.
Right.
And like with Dwayne Johnson, that charm and charisma can go in like a very fake, rehearsed, like when he does the Disney movies, something that feels kind of forced.
A lot of the time his persona feels like a product that I am being sold.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially now that he's like so deep into the Hollywood,
Right.
like he's got his own brands and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like shilling his tequila or whatever.
Doing the Netflix movies and shit like that. And somehow in this movie, he's able to weaponize that charm and charisma for good.
Yeah. He is he's kind of the most likable of the three guys in this movie, at points, at least. Anthony Mackie also is.
At points, yeah.
It's never Mark Wahlberg. If you ever feel a shred of empathy towards any of the three protagonists of this movie, it is never Mark Wahlberg. It's always either The Rock or Anthony Mackie. I don't know why I want to call him Anthony Mackie, like he's a fucking Roman general.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, no, I just love that he's just a big dumb idiot in this movie, and it's like, this kind of makes me want to see more performances where he's just very stupid. It is one of my favorite things about this movie is that you get internal monologues from every character. Like, every single character in this 2-hour movie gets like 5 minutes to just give you their unfiltered internal narration.
Right.
And when you get his, it's like, I think this guy can barely read. Like, I think he is so stupid that he, like, probably is at about a second grade mathematics level, you know?
Before we get to the movie, how are you doing? And anything that you want to recommend?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been, like, ping-ponging between feeling bad and feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good today. We're getting toward fall. I guess we are in fall now. And I love that because summer is the worst season. It sucks shit, and I'm glad that it's ending. I don't think I have any media recommendations because, like, all the movies that I watched that were new to me this week, I didn't like. Like, I watched Cropsy, and that sucked. I had been led to believe Cropsy was a good documentary. It's mid. And then I watched Grave Encounters, and it's also mid.
Is Cropsy a documentary?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it like, people talk about it like it's like a spooky horror movie, but it's just a true crime documentary, and it is a true story. Like, all of it is true. Okay. There's no made up shit in it. And it's not good. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just like, I'm not going to recommend it. So no media recommendations. David, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of ping-ponging too. Where, like, over the weekend I was feeling terrible, and then Sunday hit, and I don't know if this ever happens to you, where it's not like you make a conscious decision to have a good day, where it's like, today was shitty, but today I'm gonna, pick myself up by my bootstraps and have a good day and get this done and all that. It just was like, whatever bullshit I had to get out of my system, it was out, and then I hit a really deep low in doing that, and then the next day I was better.
Right. Yeah.
And I've just sort of been there since then.
Sometimes you just gotta, like, I don't know, burn the demons out.
Yeah.
In order to continue living normally, I guess. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Media recommendations. The Polish post-rock, avant-garde jazz.
Throw some more adjectives in there. Yeah.
I was. They're called, I believe in Polish, it's pronounced like chinene. It's the Polish word for pressure. But it's spelled Cisnienie.
Okay, yeah. I have heard of these guys.
They have a new album out called Angry Noises.
Hell yeah.
And it's fucking incredible. It's their best record since their debut album, Jazz Art Underground, which is like a 5 out of 5 album. I also think this new one is 5 out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
It's just some of the most intense, creative instrumental music that I've heard in a very long time, and it's all performed live, and they sound impossibly tight, like so tight and rehearsed, but also like they play in a way that feels unpredictable and spontaneous. And this one is a lot more intense than some of their other records. Like, all their records are good, but they really dialed up the intensity on this one, and it's like there's no possible way that this song can get any louder, and they find a way to just continuously crescendo into the stratosphere.
Hell yeah.
So if you're looking for intense experimental music, it's up for free on their Bandcamp.
Hell yeah.
And it's called Angry Noises in parentheses.
I am gonna listen to that.
You should. It's fucking rad as hell.
Yeah, I will. You sold me. So David, we're here to talk about un film de Michael Bay.
Yes, a film from the director of the upcoming Skibbity Toilet film.
It is. Every time I remember that Michael Bay is making a Skibbity Toilet film, I'm just like, is cinema dead? and I might even say some kind things about this Michael Bay movie. We'll get to it. But like the fact that like this director, who has sort of historically been kind of maligned by the art house crowd, perhaps unfairly at times, right?
Sure.
But who has made a lot of movies that have made a ton of money that critically are generally pretty poorly received. The fact that this guy who owns a private jet and a bunch of Lamborghinis and a Bentley and shit is making a movie based on a fucking Zoomer meme, Gen Alpha meme, I don't even know, just feels like the canary in the coal mine of the death of cinema as we know it.
And he's been on a bit of an upswing too, where people were into ambulance. He did a documentary about a bunch of parkour.
Yeah.
Like a parkour team.
Yeah, we are. Oh gosh, what's the name of that fucking movie? We Are Storer. Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Where he was like, he's starting to, people like, maybe the Baynaissance is upon us.
Yeah.
But then he gets handed the Skibbity Toilet movie.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be good.
I can't imagine that will be the case, but I guess who knows? You know what I was reminded in sort of Googling Michael Bay and reading up on him a little bit more in advance of this episode. You know what I knew about him, but I had forgotten, is that his like side project, because like obviously like many directors, you know, a very famous example is Steven Spielberg, right? Had some major box office success and used the funds from that to start his own production company, Amblin Entertainment, right? Michael Bay also did that. And his production company that he funded with his box office success is the one that made all of the shitty horror reboots of the early 2000s.
Yeah, Platinum Dunes.
Right? Like, that's always the thing I forget about Michael Bay is, like, he is directly responsible for the Texas Chainsaw remake, the Friday the 13th remake, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. They apparently remade The Hitcher. Platinum Dunes remade The Hitcher with Sean Bean.
There's a Hitcher remake with Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Those the Chainsaw remakes,
yes,
and the Friday the 13th remake.
I know the hot take drop that you're about to do.
Good movies.
Yeah. Right.
Better or better than most of the other movies in their respective franchises.
And you can have an opinion on this because you've seen them and I have not. I have only heard from everyone other than you that they are bad.
I think
you've told me they're good.
I think they did the Nightmare remake too.
Yeah.
And I have not.
They did do the Nightmare remake.
I have not. I saw that in college. That was my first Nightmare movie. I have not come back to that recently. I should watch that again, but I bet that one actually sucks.
Yeah, probably. But they also all made a ton of money, which is really what Michael Bay does best.
Sure.
Is make so much money.
People lamented, why are they making, a fifth Transformers movie? Because the last four made more money than Jesus Christ.
Well, Jesus Christ, didn't make that much money in his lifetime, actually. Pretty famously poor guy, which some American conservatives could, stand to remember, But, Michael Bay, I don't know. What's your relationship to the filmmaker Michael Benjamin Bay?
So I saw the first Transformers movie in theaters and saw it a few times as a kid and remember liking it.
Yeah.
I saw the second one, and that was one of those like relatively early moments in my life where I realized movies can be bad.
Is the second one Dark of the Moon?
Second one is Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah.
That's the one with racist robots.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the robots has balls.
Oh, yes, I remember. And who points out the robot's balls?
I don't remember.
Somebody points out the robot's balls.
It might be
He's like, I'm right under the creature's scrotum or some shit.
Oh, is that Turturro?
It's Turturro. Yeah, it's John
Poor
Turturro.
guy.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? He cashed that paycheck and got a new driveway or something.
Yeah. Those are the only Transformers films that I've seen. I watched Pearl Harbor recently.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I mean, I also have seen that movie, but my recollection of it is pretty vague because I saw it like once in high school.
There's good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like it could have been a good movie, but it's just too bloated, and romance is not Bay's strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that.
I would say women in general, not Bay's strong suit.
Disagree, my friend. That man knows how to shoot a beautiful woman.
Women's bodies. He's good at.
He knows how to display the female form
correct.
In all of its beauty.
I would say women as human beings, as three-dimensional characters, not a thing that is like in his wheelhouse.
I remember seeing The Island as a kid. I remember being really.
I liked The Island when I saw it.
I haven't seen it since
so
it came
long
out.
ago.
Yeah. I remember really wanting to see it because I was interested in like that kind of sci-fi premise that it had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was sort of thinking after watching this, I should go back to that and give that another shot.
You know, I've seen The Island and I've also seen Gattaca, and I feel like those two movies have combined into one single movie.
Very different films.
I feel like I couldn't tell you what happens in Gattaca versus in The Island, because I feel like they've just combined into one single amorphous thing in my brain.
Well, The Island is straight up sci-fi action,
right?
Where he's a clone.
Yes, I remember he's a clone, and it's an island full of clones. They're like growing them there or something.
It's like you win this lottery and you quote unquote go to the island.
Oh, right.
And they live in this like underground facility. And I think it's revealed that he's a clone.
Yeah.
Spoilers for The Island, I guess.
But Gattaca is like the guy who's like not genetically pure.
Right.
Trying to like enter society that is like a eugenicist society where if you're not genetically pure, you're like an outcast.
Yeah.
You're like a
Gattaca's more hard sci-fi.
Right,
I watched that in 7th grade science class. 7th grade biology.
That teacher was just like, you know, I had a rough weekend. I went a little hard, you know. I went to my friend's wedding. I drank a little too much. I'm not really feeling up to teaching these kids biology. Let's see what I got in the old DVD cabinet. Gattaca, yeah, that's got some science in it.
That teacher
They're talking about DNA, sure.
That teacher was really cool, but he had a tendency to have outbursts.
Oh,
the like middle-aged teacher who's like going through a midlife crisis sort of outbursts. Where, I guess in one of the other classes, not mine, he was like, "I'm tired of coming into this shithole every day," and that was like a thing for a while. People were talking about. I don't think he got in trouble. But
I come to work, I have to look at your fucking vapid faces. I go home and I get nothing but shit from the wife. I just want to watch Gattaca. God damn it.
He was a really cool guy. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I've seen some of his films. Many of them I've not enjoyed. However, he made a little film called The Rock, which is a pinnacle of American cinema.
It's one of the greatest action movies ever made, I think.
Have you seen The Rock?
Yeah, I've seen The Rock.
Okay.
Of course I've seen The Rock. I caught it on TNT like at least 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, TNT, home of Michael Bay's The Rock for a while in like the late 2000s, early 2010s.
It's also in the Criterion Collection along with Armageddon.
Yeah. Another movie of his that I've seen.
That's one I haven't.
You've never seen Armageddon?
No, I really want to because I like sci-fi movies set in space.
Yeah, you would like Armageddon, I think. It's like sort of trash, but it's like good, fun trash. And also, Liv Tyler gets like her belly button played with while her dad is singing, which is an interesting thing. Because it's fucking Aerosmith singing, "I don't want to close my eyes, don't want to fall asleep," as Ben Affleck's like fucking putting animal crackers in her belly button or whatever's happening in that scene. Anyway,
Anything else you want to say about the films, Michael Bay?
I saw at least 3, maybe 4 of those Transformers movies.
Okay.
And like the first one, I was really big on because I was the right age for it when it came out. Like Michael Bay famously quoted when kind of confronted with the critical detractors to his filmography, said, "I make films for teenage boys. What a crime." Right? And it's like, to a certain extent, that's true. And so when I was a teenage boy, which is the first time I saw The Rock was around then, the first time I saw Armageddon was around then, and when that first Transformers movie came out, I was a teenage boy. Like, there was probably like a good 5 months of my life where Michael Bay was probably my favorite director. You know, when I was 14 or something. And, you know, so my relationship to his movies is this is like a guy who makes shit for the type of kid that I used to be. The type of kid who fucking put, 170 hours into Halo 3.
Right. There's there's a certain nostalgia there.
Yeah. So he makes movies for douchebags, which is what I was, and to some extent continue to be. And that makes this movie really interesting to me, because this sort of feels like, in the same way that later works of David Cronenberg or Lynch feel like directors commentating on their own careers and their relationship with the artistic output that they have put into the world. What I'm saying is this might be Michael Bay's Crimes of the Future. It's sort of him kind of doing a career retrospective and being like, is it good that I did this?
This does come out in between Transformers 3 and 4, which is very funny.
Yeah.
That he's like, I think it's between 3 and 4.
Right.
Where you're right. It does have that feeling to it. And then he's like, all right, but I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
I'm doubling down, though. Yeah. It would be like if David Cronenberg made Crimes of the Future and then was like, okay, but the next thing I'm doing is The Fly 2.
They already did that.
Oh, The Fly 3, I guess.
Yeah. Cronenberg didn't do it, but they did do a Fly 2.
They did a Fly 2. Yeah. Or if, I don't know, if Cronenberg was like, let's go back to the Crashiverse. I've been listening to this. I've been listening to this podcast, and I think there's these guys are onto something.
We need to get a bunch of bicycles. No helmets. The helmets ruin it. These people need to be risking concussions mid-coitus.
Yeah, they got to be getting CTE in order to come. So yeah, Pain and Gain. Neither of us had seen this movie before. This was a Bay blind spot for both of us, correct?
Yeah, one that we've been talking about.
Yes. Mostly because the thing that drew me to this movie specifically is I had heard this one was good. And I was interested because I was like, I haven't seen that many Bay movies that, at least I haven't seen that many Bay movies as an adult that I've liked, right? Like, I liked Armageddon when I saw it, but it's been over a decade. I liked some of those Transformers movies when I was a kid, you know? But this one, I had heard from a lot of people that I respect that it is worth seeing. And I also knew that it was like Wahlberg and The Rock, who are two actors who I don't necessarily love in general. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that like this filmmaker who is maybe not among my favorites anymore, and these actors who are not really my favorites, like, made something that is good and worth watching and kind of worth talking about. That sort of drew me to it, which is why I picked it. And also, like, you know, we've talked about on this podcast before that you and I are both gym bros to some extent. And that also was like a hook for me in this movie. Is like, oh, it's about fucking gym bros who do crime.
Well, and it's you're a true crime nerd.
That too, yeah.
And it's based on a true story.
Yes.
Yeah, my relationship to this, in terms of like wanting to watch it, was Bay in general has been getting a bit of a critical reevaluation on places like Twitter,
Yeah.
where people will post a clip of Transformers and be like, "Oh, this shit's peak."
Sure.
like Anthony Hopkins getting fucking blasted into oblivion by Megatron or something.
Sure, 17-year-olds on Twitter.
But this was one that came up a lot as like one of his good ones.
Yeah.
But what I remember from the time this came out, because I didn't see it at the time, obviously didn't see it, was controversy regarding the fact that this was a true story and that like the victims were alive and concerned over their portrayals.
Some of them. A couple of the victims were not alive because they were murdered.
And they're victims and families. It was living. It was
the families are also victims.
Yeah. It was a recent memory for these people.
Right.
And it garnered a little bit of controversy because of that. There was actually a lawsuit. Involved.
I think it was the guy Mark Schiller, who is the real life version of the Tony Shalhoub character in this movie. Tony Shalhoub, that like they made his name's different in the movie. He's Victor or something in the movie. But Mark Schiller was like upset that the guys who had kidnapped him and beaten him up and run him over with a car a couple of times were being portrayed sympathetically in this movie. Which like I would argue like they're not really, but I also understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Hard to have a movie made about the guys who ran over you with a car twice.
It's a little weird to make a comedy crime movie about these guys.
Yeah.
And I bet it's hard to watch it as someone who went through it. But like
right. Also, I'm like, I don't know. I'm also the type of true crime fan where I'm like, what I like most is just laughing at the perpetrators and being like, look at this fucking idiot. Look at this fucking asshole. And I feel like this movie gives you a lot of opportunities to do that. So I'm also like, I don't know if this is necessarily a bad version of like based on a true story crime narrative.
Yeah.
Because it's like what it really tells you is like the guys who committed these crimes are fucking morons who deserve ridicule.
I struggle with it a little bit because obviously a lot of the events were changed.
Right. It's highly fictionalized. Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson's character is an amalgamation of several characters.
Right. This guy, the guy Paul, who he plays in the movie, basically didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Wahlberg and Anthony Mackie's characters are based on the real guys, given the real names.
Yeah.
And I was kind of watching this thing wondering, like, would this movie be better if it, A, just treated itself as, like, loosely inspired by the story? We're going to reference some events, but otherwise make it much more overtly fictional.
Yeah.
Because this movie it says multiple times in the movie, this is a true story.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Michael Bay is not the fucking Coen brothers.
Right.
Or would it be better if they stuck closer to the events and toned down some of the black comedy and treated it a little bit more straight? And I'm not really sure because I really liked this movie, but I did struggle with that aspect of it while watching it.
I sort of like embraced the poor taste on display here. I kind of think that the poor taste for me is a big part of this movie, and the fact that it's like sort of gross and exploitative makes it work better for me. Like, one of the funniest moments in the movie to me is when The Rock is grilling the hands and then it freeze frames and on the screen the text appears that says, "This is still a true story."
Right.
And it's like it's gross and exploitative.
And that is
also
a real,
I'm like laughing my ass off.
and that is a real thing that happened.
Yeah, a guy actually, like, it wasn't actually The Rock's character because he wasn't a real guy. It was actually Daniel Lugo who was barbecuing the hands. But when they killed these people and cut their hands off so that the cops couldn't identify the bodies, he started barbecuing them outside the warehouse. And then one of the other guys who in the gang showed up and was like, "You fucking idiot, get inside. What are you doing? You're barbecuing hands on the sidewalk."
Right.
Like, right.
And I will say, I don't know if my the struggle that I have with how this movie portrays the events comes from Bay's direction, because I have a lot of really good things to say about Bay's direction in this film.
Yeah, me too.
I'm wondering if it's a script thing, because I was looking at the screenwriters and their other credits are Marvel movies, and like the Russo movies, particularly, like they did like the Gray Man and some of the other slop that the Russos have churned out.
Yeah,
that doesn't exist because it's on Netflix and no one gives a fuck.
Yeah,
that and like the Narnia movies, and I was like, are these guys right for this type of material?
I think
if this script was, I think the conclusion I have come to is most of my problems with this movie come from the script.
I agree with you. And I think a great example of that, like just indicative of that point, is Bar Pally's performance. She is Daniel Lugo's like girlfriend, who then later becomes Paul's girlfriend in the movie. Her performance, it was really sticking out to me I was like, there's something that is not working for me.
I could tell you a couple other things about her that was sticking out to me. Sorry.
Right. Well, because the camera fetishistically is fixated on this woman's ass because it is a Michael Bay movie. But her performance, I was like, she's not a bad actress, but something about this performance is not clicking for me. And about halfway through the movie, I was like, it's because the character is written like shit. And Bar Pally is, I think, doing an admirable job in this movie. I think she is trying to give a good performance.
Yeah, I'd agree.
With a character that has been written misogynistically and has nothing for her to cling on to, you know? So every line reading, she's trying to bring something to it. And the script is just fucking like pulling the rug out from under this performance, you know? I think that's like one of the strongest indicators of what you're talking about, which is like these guys maybe don't have any business writing a story that is this complicated, you know? And has this many kind of like twists and turns, you know?
And I don't think the script is bad necessarily, but I think there are enough problems with the script that hurt my enjoyment of it a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also felt that sometimes with The Rock's performance, and even with Anthony Mackie sometimes, where I was like, man, they are trying to bring something to this. The script is not meeting them where they're at. It's kind of giving them these like clunky, like over-explained lines of dialogue where like there's sometimes a little bit too much tell and not enough show in this script. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I especially kind of like felt Anthony Mackie butting up against that because he's a good actor. And I'm like, oh, you're like making a good actor say too many words.
Yeah.
You know?
Pain and Gain, an extremely unsubtle film.
Oh, yeah. We talked about The Fall last week. Tarsem Singh, a contemporary of Bay. You know, they came up together. We talked about it on that episode. The Fall looks like the most like subtle, understated film of all time in comparison to Pain and Gain. This is fucking blunt force trauma, this film.
Sometimes quite literally.
Yeah. And like, by the time this 2-hour movie ends, you feel like you have been watching it for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
In like a way that I don't necessarily think is entirely bad. I kind of think that the way that this film is able to wear you the fuck out is actually sort of in its favor. Because I kind of think that that's like part of the point that the movie is making, you know? But yeah. A tremendously unsubtle film for sure. Yeah. I don't know, like we can just talk about some of the shit that happens in this thing, I guess.
Yeah. Did you look I just wanted to ask, did you look into the true crime aspect of this?
I did.
Extensively, or did you just kind of give it a once? Because I kind of gave it a once over, but like, had you heard about this story from like one of the podcasts that you listen to?
Yeah, so I had heard about this on a true crime podcast from way back, but I am not super familiar with this story, and I did give myself a little refresher, but I've never read the series of I think Miami Times articles that this movie is based on that are like the basis of all of the other kind of conversation on this story. Because there was one reporter for the Miami Times who covered this thing in depth, and his reporting is like the definitive version of the real story. I've never read that, and I should, and I intend to, but it's quite long. So everything I've picked up is like from Wikipedia or from other articles or from like true crime podcasts. And the thing that I think is interesting about this movie is like a lot of the things that were changed and fictionalized, like there's basically one sequence in this movie that is wholly invented for spectacle, which is Dwayne Johnson's character stealing the money from the armored truck and going on the big chase and getting his toe shot off and everything. That's all totally fake and is basically just to give another action scene in this movie. Everything other than that is sort of less outrageous in the movie than it was in real life, which is like very interesting to me. Because one of the funniest early things in this movie is when they're trying to kidnap Tony Shalhoub and they keep fucking it up, right? In real life, in the movie, they have like 2 unsuccessful attempts.
Right, I did read this.
And then they successfully kidnap him. In real life, they tried like fucking 8 times before they got him.
This movie, like you said, is 2 hours, and maybe you kind of feel exhausted by the end of it. I would like to say, Mr. Bay, I would have loved it if you cut back on some other things and gave us all 8 kidnapping attempts, one right after another.
The kidnapping attempts are some of the best shit in this movie. It's so funny. It's so funny when Anthony Mackie's in the fucking alien onesie with like the fucking mask and shit, and he's like, I don't know, man, like they're 2 identical BMWs. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But yeah, like the other main thing that like in terms of the differences between like the movie version of this and the real life version of this, I think the real life guys, my impression based on what I've learned is that the real life guys were a little bit better at being criminals. They were dumb, but they weren't quite as dumb and incompetent as Mark Wahlberg and Anthony Mackie and The Rock are in this movie.
That's what it seemed like from what I read too.
Yeah, and they were also a little bit more like it seems like the crimes were a little bit more overtly and intentionally brutal, right? Because in this movie, like the violence kind of seems accidental, right? It's like, oh, we're just trying to get money, and then people end up getting hurt, right? And it's like, no, like when they kidnapped the guy in real life, they planned to kill him from the beginning. They were always gonna kill him, and so it's like, is there a little bit maybe like kind of whitewashing the criminals here and making them seem like incompetent, like dorks, when actually they were like fucking really bad and brutal dudes? Maybe a little bit, At the same time, I feel like what Michael Bay hits at the core of this story that feels like it rings very true to the reality of the situation is that like these guys were like desperate, lazy morons, right? It's like they all wanted out of their shitty situation, right? They all wanted, to stop having to live paycheck to paycheck and to hit it big. They didn't want to actually do any work required to get there. And so they just tried to take the easiest path, which is like find a rich guy and steal his money, right? And I kind of feel like that core gets carried over to this movie, and it's like you do still see these guys, despite maybe him humanizing them a little bit in this movie, you still see them as desperate, lazy morons.
Yeah, this is kind of an R-rated It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode.
Yeah.
Where the characters are a lot more overtly malicious and but still just as dumb and moronic.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anyone in this movie like encapsulates that as well as Marky Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, man. Do you think Mark Wahlberg understood the movie he was in while he was making this movie. I was thinking about this for the entire time while I was watching this movie.
It's a great point.
I was like, does he know what movie he's in?
Man,
does
you
he
know-
know how he's coming across?
I already did hate crimes against black people and Vietnamese people, and the guy in this movie is half Jewish, half Colombian. I should start branching out to some of the other races, you know?
Gonna fill up my hate crime bingo card. Yeah. He's like good in this.
Right. That's the way you say it. He's good in this?
He's good.
Did he know he was acting?
Right.
Did he know the movie he was in?
Right. Like when he goes to Ken Jeong's motivational speech and it's just like fucking manosphere, fucking hustle grind set garbage. And he's just like eating it up.
Oh, and it's so dumb too.
Yeah.
It's so dumb and obvious. Don't be a don'ter, be a doer.
Yeah. In that whole scene, I'm like, this performance feels genius for this scene because he is just like eating it up. He's like, yeah, I am a doer. I'm a doer, bro. I'm gonna do it, right? And I'm like, does he know that he's doing the exact right thing to make the satire hit here, or is he just like this?
I mean, it feels like Tom Cruise in Magnolia or in Eyes Wide Shut, some of those earlier roles that like the director was able to capture his incredibly manic singular persona and somehow comment on it.
Right.
In a way that feels a little bit satirical. I feel like in those cases, Tom Cruise was in on the joke more.
Right.
And I don't know if Mark Wahlberg was.
I don't know either. And especially like the whole thing with The Rock's character, Paul, being this like born again Christian and saying shit that is like so similar to like what Mark Wahlberg says on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was just like, was there no cognitive dissonance for him making this movie? Was he not thinking about this at all?
Hey, man, it was pretty cool when you did that hate crime against that gay priest. I haven't done one of those yet.
The hate crime against the gay priest is one of the moments in this movie where I'm just like, this is like such a fascinating... This movie is so fascinating in its ability to make me be like, wow, like, what a gross, disgusting, reprehensible thing that this movie is portraying. But also, like, is it commentating on it enough where it, like, circles back around to being darkly funny? And I think with the hate crime against the gay priest, the answer is no. But there's other shit in this movie where I'm like... I'm kind of laughing.
I mean, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. I was
Yeah.
laughing too. I think the movie does a good job of like setting up pretty early that all three of these guys do pretty shitty, reprehensible things.
Yeah, the crucial thing
it sets the tone for their characters.
Right. The crucial thing in this movie is that all three of these guys are huge fucking assholes.
Yeah.
That you should not want to be like.
Like relatively early in Dwayne Johnson's arc, it's like he's an ex-con, he's born again, he's sober, he's at this little he's living and working at this like halfway house chapel sort of thing. And there's this priest, and this priest is trying to get close to him in a way that seems very nice and genuine and sweet.
Yeah, he's being kind to him.
Yeah.
But then he like maybe starts,
and
commentating
then
on his physique. And,
right.
Yeah.
And then he makes a
moves on
pass
little
at him, and Dwayne Johnson beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And that's pretty early in his arc. So you know that, like, even though Dwayne Johnson seems like the nice one, he is still really not a good guy.
Yeah.
And
He's a piece of shit.
With Mark Wahlberg, it happens even earlier because in, like, the opening montage of him talking about himself and his philosophy behind fitness and what it means to be an American and what it means to be a man and all that, he's like, he passes by some fat girl in the gym on the treadmill.
And he
And
like
he's-
practically dry heaves. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to look at fatties. Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy's a trainer.
Yeah.
Like, he's a trainer.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be there to support people in their fitness journeys.
Yeah.
And he's just like, unless you're a fucking fatty.
Yeah. And then there's like the whole thing where he's like working out with like a really hot female
Yeah.
client, and he's just like openly staring at her ass while she's doing like leg curls or whatever. It's like, no, yeah, this guy is a huge piece of shit. Yeah. I like I like the thing that gets him to go to the Ken Jeong seminar, the commercial where Ken Jeong is just like, this commercial was really cracking me up. Is like, does your life suck balls?
Yeah, I was.
Do you want to fucking make $1 million and stop being a fucking dumbass?
So I'm not super familiar with Ken Jeong, but I'm
Yeah.
aware of him.
Yeah.
Is every Ken Jeong role stunt casting? Is is your reaction supposed to be like, oh, that's Ken Jeong?
I kind of think so. That's my
He's,
experience.
I mean,
with
he's
him.
great in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was just like, did they cast him on purpose for this?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, no, his whole like fucking it's such like Andrew Tate garbage. And it this movie kind of feels ahead of its time.
Yeah,
at
I was
points.
gonna say it's weirdly predictive
Yeah.
of the current manosphere,
Right.
alpha male mindset that has taken over the internet.
And this movie is like making fun of that in 2013.
Yeah.
So it does feel pretty prescient.
I mean, things were heading that way.
Right.
Definitely. Like,
Yeah.
there were, I was friends with guys at that time who were like into Jordan Peterson before it was like that became a huge red flag.
Kermit voiced motherfuck.
Trans people don't exist.
I'm a puppet.
Yeah. But yeah,
What rules, you sons of bitches?
but yeah, it does feel like
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. Fuck that guy.
it does seem like Bay is kind of staring into the future in the next 10 years of where masculinity in America is going.
Yeah. Yeah. I like all of that stuff in this movie. That's a lot of this movie, right? Is sort of its commentary on American masculinity. And like a lot of it, like again, like you said, this movie is incredibly unsubtle. And Mark Wahlberg basically says that verbatim in his opening narration. He's like, America is the most fucking juiced up country in the world. We started as 13 pussy ass colonies and now we're fucking anabolic as shit.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like 1-to-1, like America is sort of modern masculinity personified.
Right. And there's a lot of American flags in the movie, like
Oh,
people
yeah.
doing speeches in front of American flags.
Yeah.
The poster has these guys in front of an American flag.
Yeah.
It's so intrinsically it's really interesting how Bay kind of links those, or the screenwriters link those two ideas
Yeah.
together. Is this on your masculinity as a prison list?
I just put it on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I talk about one of my lists?
Uh-huh.
I have a list called American Nightmares and Dystopias.
Yeah.
And I put this on there.
Yeah.
The only other movie that we've covered on the podcast that's on that list is RoboCop,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I probably added after we did that episode. I think I did that list after we did that. But to me, American Nightmares and Dystopias represent they're films that represent all of the negative aspects of American culture in a way that links them to traditional American values and the American dream.
Yeah.
So I have stuff on there like The Godfather,
Right.
or They Live, or Killers of the Flower Moon, and Wolf of Wall Street. And one thing I was going to say about this movie,
Yeah.
this is a Goodfellas light kind of movie.
Yeah.
Also see like Boogie Nights, where it's like it's gonna be a lot of voiceover,
Yeah.
and a lot of scenes that are kind of quick and montagey, and we're going through a series of events.
Right. We're gonna be hanging
following
out
a
with these
character.
guys for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this does kind of feel like Michael Bay watched a bunch of Scorsese movies and was like, I'm going to try my hand at one of those.
It really does. I was thinking Wolf of Wall Street big time throughout this movie. It feels very much like white trash Wolf of Wall Street. This is Florida Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. Right down to the sort of like glamorization of drug use and hanging out at clubs and stuff that then like turns and becomes dark.
I almost wish there was more of that.
Yeah, me too.
Like we get a couple shots of Gear and Dwayne Johnson doing coke. I kind of want more.
Did this movie make you want to do steroids? Or did it make you not want to do steroids?
This made me not want to do steroids.
Okay.
Love Lies Bleeding makes me want to do steroids.
Yeah.
One of our great steroid movies.
Yeah, when she turns big at the end of that movie, I'm like, God, I got to do steroids.
I want to
be big. She's so big at the end of that movie.
Or I think one of the times when she like injects herself, they're like her muscle twitches in a really dramatic, over the top way. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I want to do that.
Yeah. Lots of injections in this movie, including penis injections. Anthony Mackie's character.
Yeah, that's
we
that's
sort of
the
talked
thing.
about. We sort of talked about the beginning of The Rock's shit in this movie and Wahlberg's. Anthony Mackie, who's Adrian, is his character's name, and the guy in real life was also named Adrian. He's like a trainer at the gym in the movie. He's sort of like not in real life, but his character, his fictionalized version in the movie. He's sort of like the mild-mannered one who is like maybe the least dumb of the three of them, and is sort of the most like apprehensive about like their whole schemes, right? But he's ultimately in for it, because he has to pay for his fucking penis injections because the gear has made his dick stop working.
Yes.
and all that stuff I kind of like. It's very Michael Bay 2013 humor to be like, oh, this guy's got a small dick that won't get hard, right? Haha. At the same time, like I was laughing. I did enjoy these jokes.
It's very funny, and they keep doing it over and over. And also, like, credit to this movie. This movie made me tolerate mid-2010s Rebel Wilson.
I like Rebel Wilson in this movie. I think she's good in it.
Which is not to say that she's like someone who I dislike or think is bad.
Yeah.
I think we got a little overexposed to Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, Rebel Wilson was like in movies for a while.
Yeah.
And now she's kind of not.
Yeah.
Like,
she
what
just
happened to Rebel Wilson?
She just had something come out that was apparently a really bad movie.
Oh.
I rember that.
That
was like, oh, Rebel Wilson, where has she been?
I feel like in like 2012 she was in like everything. You know,
yeah.
There was a real like Rebel Wilson boom and bust. You know, if you had stock in Rebel Wilson in about 2008, you came out on top.
Right.
But I like her in this movie.
Yeah,
I think she's funny.
Also, Peter Stormare jump scare as the dick doctor.
When the camera cuts from Anthony Mackie to the doctor, and it is just Silver Fox Peter Stormare.
Oh, please.
Okay,
Please,
silver, medium-looking guy. Peter
No. Lecherous greaseball. Peter Stormare, my friend. Here's the thing. I love him.
Gray-haired beanbag chair. Peter Stormare. Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
That man has looked like absolute dog shit for like 40 years, probably.
But he kind of looks like absolute dog shit in like kind of a sexy way, though. Like,
hey, if you want to, I won't yuck your yum.
Yeah, but when Peter Stormare was revealed to be the dick doctor, I laughed out loud. Just because it was Peter Stormare.
And he
has one scene.
Like, I think he's just like one shot. Too.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's just in that.
And he's like, oh, yes, we can make your penis big.
He's literally on screen for 5 minutes.
That's it, yeah.
I like his, because he has his doctor's coat on over this terrible cheap suit and tie.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to Anthony Mackie real quick.
Yeah.
Great in this.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie's always great. I've always liked him in everything I've seen him in.
Yeah. It's sort of interesting that he was the choice for the third guy.
Yeah.
Because
I assume you need to save a little bit of money if you have Wahlberg and The Rock in your movie.
Yeah.
And Mackie is going to be cheaper than another like comparable type of guy probably who you could have gotten. Like I'm thinking like they could have gotten like a Chris Rock for this role, right? And it's like, well, that's going to cost you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And what I kind of find interesting is like Mackie looks good. Like he looks fit.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as big as Wahlberg and
No.
Dwayne Johnson in this.
And they kind of make a joke out of that. Like, I love when The Rock comes to the gym for the first time, and Wahlberg's trying to, like, talk to him about, like, getting him in on the crime. And Anthony Mackie's like, you take your amino acids before or after you lift? Like, how many grams of protein a day would you say you eat?
Yeah, that was great.
And The Rock is just like, what the fuck? Like, because he's just one of those guys that's just born genetically like that.
Yeah. And it's interesting that they cast Anthony Mackie, who I think, like, from the Marvel movies gets, his reputation in those, like, he's kind of a cheerful, fun-loving, affable guy.
Yeah.
And he's definitely has that persona in this movie, but he's also, like, pretty dark and sadistic, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when he fucking tases Tony Shalhoub in the head.
And then there is a slow motion shot that goes on for so long of Tony Shalhoub just spittle flying out of his mouth after getting tased in the head. One of multiple slow-mo shots in this movie where I was like, Michael Bay is a slow-mo artist. He is like one of our greatest slow-mo filmmakers.
You know, I was watching this and I was thinking of the two alternate versions of it. One of them is more serious and more prestige, and like who could direct that? And my mind went to like Coen Brothers, Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah,
even
you mentioned Boogie Nights. Paul Thomas
Anderson could do a version of this.
Yeah,
and then my mind went to Sloptown and like what would be a more like hyper violent, hyper masculine version of this that is much more fictionalized.
Right.
And I was like, I would kind of love to see Zack Snyder do this.
Yeah.
Like Zack Snyder's Pain and Gain.
Another one of our premier slow-mo artists.
Would be rad as fuck. I
feel like Zack Snyder's Pain and Gain would somehow be even more misogynistic, but possibly less racist.
That's what I was thinking. Because Bay has that kind of macho persona to him a little bit. He's rich and all that.
Yes. Never married, no kids, has dated Playboy centerfold models, very much practices what he preaches.
Relatively fit.
Yeah.
And then you got Zack Snyder who's like in the gym benching.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of want to see him bring that perspective.
Yeah. Anytime I see videos of Zack Snyder benching, I do have a little bit of that like toxic dude bro thing where I'm like, he's not even really putting up numbers. You know what I'm saying? He's much older than me.
He looks good. Like he
looks great.
He looks great for his age, though. He's pretty ripped for 50 or 60.
He looks fantastic. Just anytime I see him like fucking incline benching 135, I'm like, I can do more than that. You know? As opposed to The Rock in this movie.
Is he incline benching 225 or is he doing 315?
He's incline benching 225, but he's doing it for mad reps.
Yeah.
Suicide grip. In this movie.
He is doing suicide grip.
He is doing suicide grip, which is a very bodybuilder thing.
Okay. I didn't mention this, but I did hit a pump before we
you
come
gotta
to this
do
recording.
It, man. You got to do it. But probably the funniest moment of this movie is when Wahlberg gets the pump right after they fucking ice two people. Like they kill two people. And then it's after they kill the people, right? And then he's going to go... He's gonna go to like fucking Home Depot to get like supplies to chop him up or whatever.
Yeah,
and he's like, I gotta get a pump.
But first
first
he starts doing bicep
Yeah,
curls.
and then The Rock's like, yeah, that's good. Get it. Yeah.
Is that the exercise? What exercise would you do after you just killed someone?
Probably pull-ups because like I can do them and I like them a lot. And I feel like pull-ups are like one of those exercises where it's like if you can do a pull-up, you're just like doing pull-ups all the time just to show people that you can do them. You've seen me do that.
I've seen you do pull-ups.
Yeah.
I've seen you do weighted pull-ups.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
As someone who cannot do a normal pull-up.
Yeah. I feel like anytime like a person can do pull-ups for reps, they're like so proud of that they're just like, I'm just going to do pull-ups all the time. So I'm pretty sure if I accidentally killed two people and then was needing to get into the zone to dismember them and hide their bodies in the Everglades, I'd probably do some pull-ups.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I'd bench.
Yeah.
I just love benching. I benched today. I PR'd on bench. I did.
Hell yeah. What'd you hit?
I hit 3 reps at 235.
Fuck yeah, dude.
which is cool. I haven't climbed that high in a while.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
my bench is sort of my 1 rep PR is sort of like hovered around 245, and I haven't been able to crack it.
Yeah.
And that those 20 pounds between 225 and 245 are like the fucking demilitarized zone. It's like anything goes in those.
5 pounds on bench is like 25 pounds on squat or deadlift. It's so like 5 pounds makes so much difference.
Yeah. So I was really glad that I was able to crank those out with relative ease.
Yeah.
Struggled a bit.
My last bench day I did 5x5 at 230.
Cool.
But my bench is your squat and deadlift are stronger than mine, and my bench is stronger than yours. This is a thing that we've talked about.
We have talked about this, but
Yeah.
I haven't been in the gym all that frequently, and I haven't kept up. So
Yeah, same.
I
Although this movie, if nothing else, great motivation to work out.
yeah boy.
Because as much as it's like fucking toxic masculinity dude bro shit, it's also like, man, I do love lifting weights.
That's sort of why Bay is maybe not, I don't know about the perfect director for this movie, but a good director for this movie, because he's just like sort of like The Rock weaponizing his like charisma and charm.
Yeah.
Bay is weaponizing all of the things that people know him for in this, which is like, I'm going to shoot these super muscular guys and show off their sweat and make their sweat glisten and light them really well, and like make the color grading is going to be super blown out.
Yeah.
And oversaturated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot everyone low and do those 360 shots.
Everything's gonna be super quick and frantic and anxiety inducing. Yeah.
Yeah, like the way he shoots these guys are like the action heroes in his other movies.
Yeah. And like it does give you that sort of like uncanny middle space with these characters where you're like, I fucking hate these dudes, they suck. And also I really want to bench 315 pounds. And I really want my fucking arms to look like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I really just want to.
He does both things at the same time really well in this movie.
Yeah, I really just want to throw 3 plates on the bench and send it.
This is one of the sweatiest movies of all time. There's a scene specifically. So like what happens in the movie is like, once we meet all 3 of our main crew of dudes, Mark Wahlberg, his character's Daniel Lugo. He kind of ropes the 2 of them into this get-rich-quick scheme that he has. And basically his idea is like, I'm going to kidnap a rich guy and make him give me all his money.
Right.
And that's how I'm going to get rich, right? And so the guy that they kidnap is Tony Shalhoub as Victor, whatever his last name is. So that when they there's a couple of like failed kidnapping attempts, then they actually kidnap him. They take him to the warehouse full of dildos, right? And it's a warehouse full of dildos.
Great location.
I like the fucking, there's like that silicone like butt with the vagina that is just like a sex toy to fuck, and like The Rock's looking at it, and I like when he gives it a little spank and it wobbles. one of many like really juvenile jokes in this movie that I still laughed at quite hard.
Yeah.
Because Michael Bay, he makes movies for teenage boys. That's such a crime.
And there is just something funny about a giant dildo, and there's just tons of giant dildos in the background of these shots.
There's also something very funny about The Rock, who is an enormous man, just giving a little slap to this little silicone butt.
Yeah,
I think the bigger the guy slapping the silicone butt, the funnier it is.
Yeah, the butt that's the size of one of his quads.
Right, yeah. It's like this tiny little thing, and he's like, boop. But yeah, so when they're in the warehouse, I love all of this shit where they're interrogating Victor, and he won't give anything up. And you get some of Tony Shalhoub's internal monologue where he's like, I'm from Colombia, I've been kidnapped before, I can withstand this shit, like these guys don't know who they're dealing with, which I also like that he doesn't fold easily. He's just like, nah dude, you're gonna have to fucking torture me. But there's like the thing with The Rock and him bonding is funny, but their scenes together is where I was starting to realize I think this might be the sweatiest movie ever. Like Evil Dead 2013 has a scene where it rains blood, and that is like the scene that uses the most blood in cinematic history. I sort of feel like the inside of this warehouse might hold a similar record for just sweat beads leaving actors' faces.
This is a pretty decent sweat movie.
Yeah.
I think Oh Brother Where Art Thou might be sweatier.
You're right. That's a sweaty
That
movie.
is a colossally sweaty movie.
It's sweaty as fuck. You're right. That's another one I haven't seen since high school. I should go back to that.
You should go back to that one.
Yeah.
As someone who didn't really like it and then went back to it recently, I feel like an idiot for talking shit about it all these years.
Yeah. Gotta watch it. But yeah, this movie, so sweaty. There's a point when The Rock is talking to Tony Shalhoub where I'm pretty sure a drop of sweat falls off The Rock's face and lands on Tony Shalhoub's face. Which I was like, holy shit. Like, these guys are just fucking moistening each other at this point. Yeah, all the shit between the two of them is so funny.
Yeah.
It's some of the funniest shit in the movie.
Yeah. Tony Shalhoub's great in this, too.
I love Tony Shalhoub. I love him. I ever since watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is the Amy Sherman Palladino show, I was like, have I been sleeping on Tony Shalhoub? And then my little sister got really into Monk. And and so I watched some Monk.
Because I was aware of Monk as a kid and maybe caught some of it.
Yeah.
And then Tony Shalhoub is just kind of a guy who shows up in movies. I'm like, oh, here's Monk.
Yeah.
What's Monk doing here?
He truly is one of the funniest guys of all time in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Okay.
I would recommend watching that show exclusively for Tony Shalhoub, and the rest of the show is also good. But it is worth watching just for him.
But I had a similar feeling while watching this movie where I was like, have I been sleeping on Shalhoub?
He's also
he's
kind of jacked in this movie. He looks great. You don't think so?
I didn't notice it really.
Oh, his arms are like kind of vascular. I was like,
Okay.
that's some old man, muscle that he's got going on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's funny as fuck in this movie.
Yeah.
And I love it because his character is quite unlikable. Quite a crotchety old rich bastard.
To the point where I was like, is this anti-Semitic? And then I remembered that Michael Bay is Jewish, which doesn't mean it's not anti-Semitic, but Michael Bay's Jewish.
Not gonna stop me either way, bro.
I'm not gonna call Michael Bay anti-Semitic because he is Jewish.
I'm gonna kidnap and hate crime this guy all the same.
I saw that Star of David dangling around his neck, and I started seeing red, bro. This guy doesn't believe Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior?
Yeah. It's like the black dildo on my arm just sort of had a mind of its own, and I started beating him with it.
I know the Romans killed Jesus, but there's no Romans around anymore, bro. I can't do a hate crime against a Roman.
But yeah, I think Tony Shalhoub's good in this movie to bring things back from
from the precipice.
Hate crime, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Just don't clip any of those out of context.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that we're doing a Mark Wahlberg impression. I think we're safe. If anyone clips those and posts them anywhere trying to get us canceled,
any controversy, they'll be like,
well, that's just Mark Wahlberg.
They're clearly just referencing Mark Wahlberg's notable hate crimes.
Yes.
His trifecta of hate crimes. Because that man did one hate crime when he was 15, and then two when he was 16, a day after the other.
Yeah, just sort of a hate crime streak that he was on.
Little Lord of the Rings trilogy of hate crimes.
Yep. His sleep schedule is also a hate crime against himself.
Yeah. 4 a.m. getting up to work out.
I gotta get prayed up, bro. Prayers up. Yeah. Paul and Victor bond here because Paul is the dumbest. And so he's literally on the screen. There's a freeze frame and it says the weak link.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shalhoub does a really good job preying on his kind nature and trying to get on his good side. And I think when I said that Shalhoub, I mean the character and the actor. I think the performance is really good.
Yeah.
And makes this guy who is otherwise pretty reprehensible and unlikable and unsympathetic you kind of like him.
Right, because he's funny.
You like his dynamic with The Rock.
Right. And like it's also like he's a piece of shit being victimized by other pieces of shit. So you're kind of like, all right, like, and this is another thing I love about this movie. You know that I love a movie like this where everyone is incompetent and bad at everything. This is like a peak example of a movie where everyone sucks and nobody's good at anything.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. And like all the stuff in the warehouse I love so much because it is like very much that for 20 or so minutes.
The warehouse is also just visually a really cool location.
Yeah, it's
like
fun.
it's shot well. The windows are all foggy, and like the light streaming through them has this piss yellow tint.
Yeah.
That again, like I think Bay is weaponizing that style of color grading really well in this film.
The ugliness of this movie does feel really calculated by him, right?
Yeah.
Like, the really yellow lighting in the warehouse, but also like the slow-mo spittle coming out of Tony Shalhoub's mouth later when he's in the hospital after they run him over and a guy takes a big shit in the bathroom and it's just you get a look into the bathroom and the walls are splattered with diarrhea.
Oh yeah, boy.
It is fucking horrendous. And it feels very intentional. It feels like Michael Bay being like, yeah, however far you thought this movie was going in terms of being gross and degenerate and reprehensible, like it's going farther. Like this movie is more grotesque than you realize when you initially, like when the first 10 minutes of the movie don't really prepare you for how wild things are going to get, in a way that I really like.
Yeah, I kind of wish it went a little bit farther in places.
Yeah.
But I was surprised and appreciated and eventually became a little exhausted by how relentless this movie is with its editing, pacing, the speed at which jokes come at you, and then the graphicness of the content.
Yeah.
Where like by the end I was sort of like, all right, I've had fun. I'd like to get off the ride now.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of that stuff I would have loved to see him push it a little bit farther too. Like I have conflicting thoughts on this movie. I really like this movie, but there are things that I'm conflicted on too.
Yeah, me too. You know what I'm not conflicted on? This is backtracking a little bit because it's before they kidnap Tony Shalhoub. It's when they go into the gun shop to buy all the guns.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm not conflicted on is witnessing a striper joke in a major motion picture.
Yeah, that was pretty wild to see that.
I laughed my fucking ass off. Striper, the band that is the band that even fans of Christian music kind of treat as a joke.
Did you have a
Christian Kiss?
Did you ever have a Striper phase?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. Even my dad didn't like Striper. And my dad is who I picked up a lot of my Christian music from.
Yeah.
He was into a lot of like 70s and 80s Christian music, but he wasn't a Striper guy. He was a Petra guy.
Oh no, not that Petra. Not did a song with wildly homophobic Christian singer Carman Petra.
Yeah. Yes, that Petra. Yeah. It was my dad was more into their like 70s and 80s output, which I think was pre-Carman collab. My dad wasn't a Carman guy. I heard Carman at church though.
Oh yeah.
And if you're wondering why I'm saying it Carman instead of Carmen, it's because that's how it's spelled. Carman. Carman.
It's very funny that that's his name.
If you ever want to have a bad time and feel insane, listen to some Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a 2 or 3 day phase where I was just listening to Carman because you exposed me to him somehow, and I felt like I was losing my mind.
Yeah, he has like a bunch of songs that are basically just him sort of yelling about.
Well, that's what's incredible about him is he does so many different styles. He has a collaboration with the metal band Petra, like you said. He does country songs. He does rap music. He does rock songs. He does like kind of patriotic Lee Greenwood.
Oh yeah,
flag waving.
I would
rock.
say that's his specialty.
But he sings over everything.
Yes. Yeah. Like it'll be a hip hop beat, and it'll be Carmen being like, "Did you know that Jesus is the one? He is God's only son." Like it is literally like that bad.
Or like Satan Bite the Dust is a country song, and
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm just singing like this the whole time. Satan Bite the Dust. Or what-
Carman, a great argument against Italian Americans having rights.
Hey, come on. Whoa. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter, you? Anyway, so yeah, pain and gain. The fucking shit goes down at the warehouse, and like Tony Shalhoub tries to get one over on The Rock. Because he's like sort of formed a bond with him. And this scene I really like because like Tony Shalhoub attacks him and then The Rock punches him and like knocks him out with like one fucking punch.
Yeah.
And then he has a great line that is maybe my favorite Dwayne Johnson line delivery in the entire movie, which is, Jesus Christ has blessed me with many gifts. One of them is knocking someone the fuck out. And then he like goes up to Tony Shalhoub's like unconscious body after saying that and gets really close to him and goes, Pepe, it's Eldad. Which was probably my biggest laugh of the movie, was Pepe, it's Eldad. Because like Tony Shalhoub has given him like a Hebrew nickname. He's calling him Eldad. And yeah, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where the movie really, like, I think really hooked me, was like right around here. Because then pretty shortly after this is when they try and kill him. Because they like he signs over all his assets.
Yeah, they get him to sign over the assets.
Yeah.
They're starting to live large.
Mark Wahlberg has to convince the owner of the gym that he works at to notarize the documents because he needs a notary. And so he kind of like bribes him into it by like getting the Schlotzskys that Tony Shalhoub owns to like sponsor the bodybuilding competition or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the shit with the notary is also very funny to me. There's like a great moment where they're like talking about how the documents have to be notarized. He's like at the bank trying to get the assets transferred, and the guy's talking about how the notary has to like be there and witness the signature happen. And Mark Wahlberg's so frustrated, just goes, "What the fuck even is a notary, man?" It really was sending me. But yeah, so they like get all the shit signed over, and they're like, okay, well now it's time to kill him because he knows who we are. He recognized like, or he remembered like Danny Lugo's like shitty cologne from the gym, and so he's like, well, he can ID all of us, so we're gonna have to kill him.
Yeah.
And then like all of them are just like being so like incompetent and non-committal about it. They're like, okay, so like, well, we'll like shoot him or whatever. And it's like, The Rock doesn't want to do it. And so it's like, okay, well, we'll get him drunk and we'll drive his car into like some construction equipment or whatever, which like, this is a thing from real life.
Yes, I did read that.
This part of the story being real is fucking insane because what happens in the movie and also happened in real life is they like force this guy to drink a bunch of booze and put him in the car and then like drive the car at like towards a construction site. The car crashes. The guy doesn't die. They light him on fire. He doesn't die. And then they run him over twice with a car. And that like actually really happened. And the guy lived, which is crazy.
And Mark Wahlberg's character dies out of the car. Daniel Lugo actually dove out of the car in the process of doing this.
Yep.
It's like, there's probably some minor details changed and embellished here, but like beat for beat sounds like this is what fucking happened.
Which is so wild. And like, it is funny in the movie. It's not funny that this happened to a real guy. But like, it makes a really good story. Like, you know? And this scene was pretty funny to me. It's like, because they're just so bad at killing this dude. They're like so bad at committing one murder that it just becomes ridiculous. By the time he like gets out of the car on fire and like pats himself out, and then they're like, well, now we have to hit him with the car. I was just like, this is absurd. The moment when they run over his head though is pretty actually pretty harrowing.
Yeah.
Because you see the rubber of the tire go into his mouth. That shot was very much like, ugh.
It's a fun scene where the movie gets a chance to slow down and just spend time with these guys riffing and improvising and being stupid and incompetent. But when it gets to the part where the Rock backs over him and the Rock's conflicted because that's his Pepe, he does it really slowly and it holds on Tony Shalhoub under that car for a while.
Yeah.
And then it seems like he's pretty beaten up and dead, but he's still alive apparently.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Which actually happened. They just ran over this guy twice and he lived.
Yeah.
And then the next bit also actually happened, which is he goes to the hospital. The cops don't believe what happened to him. And he's like, these guys are going to come back to finish the job, which they do. They do. And they did in real life. The thing where they get confused by the lines on the floor leading to the different areas of the hospital was so funny, where it's Mark Wahlberg in voiceover is yeah, we would have been there. We would have killed him way earlier if this grid system that the hospital is using hadn't confused us for an hour. And they're all like on all fours on the floor looking at the lines, being like, where the fuck does this go?
And then he starts trying to improvise with this doctor and pretend that he's a real doctor.
Yeah.
And it goes okay for a little while.
And then the doctor's like, why are you dressed for surgery in someone else's hospital? I just want to be prepared for anything, bro. What if there's a surgery that needs to happen?
What if I need to fix a Vietnamese guy's head that I fucking caved in with a wooden stick,
Yeah.
I would never actually do that though, because I'm unrepentant about my various hate crimes. That's not true. He did make amends with the Vietnamese guy.
Yes, who he hate crimed.
But he did also try to get the crime purged from his record, I think.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I think he could be more repentant for doing hate crimes as a teenager.
I agree. I think he should be preying up on his various hate crimes that he has committed in the past.
We've all done crazy things as a teenager. I just didn't. I just didn't do a hate crime
based on their race, everybody's crazy when
and
they're 16.
shout slurs while I did it.
That's right.
That's
right. And then get to be a movie star. But yeah. So Tony Shalhoub escapes from the hospital. This is where Ed Harris enters the movie.
Yeah, Ed Harris has one line of voiceover in the beginning, and I'm like, ooh, Ed Harris. I get to hang out with Ed Harris.
Yeah.
And then I forgot about him for an hour.
Right.
And then I was
he shows back up.
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Is this our first Ed Harris film on this podcast?
No. He's in Snowpiercer.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So this is Ed's second appearance for
cool.
Ed Harris on the podcast.
Ed Harris, one of our greatest balds.
Oh, yeah.
And one of our great actors.
Yes. Looking, he's on his way to becoming the Crypt Keeper in this movie, but he's not there yet like he is in Love Lies Bleeding.
His face is quite scrotal in this film.
Yes, yeah. But it is not quite like just flesh peeled back against his skull in the way that it is in Love Lies Bleeding.
Yeah, he's not fully a ball sack.
Yeah. But I love Ed Harris. He's great. Love him in this movie.
Yeah.
I like that when you're introduced to him, he's he's a retired cop who had a detective agency, and then he retired from that too. And he his wife is trying to get him to leave the crime solving stuff behind and calm down, and he's not adjusting to retirement well. So he's kind of being cantankerous about it. And if you want somebody to be cantankerous, you can do a lot worse than it.
Yeah, why not hire actual cantankerous man Ed Harris?
Yes. Actual grumpy old fuck Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're James Cameron, try to drown him and see if that'll make him even more cantankerous.
It does. He was talking shit about James Cameron for that, like, for so long afterwards.
I think he would not answer questions about the Abyss.
Yeah. Like, for so long.
Yeah.
Because he's just like so. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still mad at James Cameron about that.
Yeah, they made T-shirts on the set,
right,
that said "Life is abyss and then you die."
Yeah. That's very funny.
Yeah.
I imagine he had a better time working with Michael Bay, especially because in this movie he basically has like
he gets to sit in a chair for a lot of it.
Yeah, he gets to sit in a chair. He basically has like 2 or 3 locations. Like he's mostly in that house. I'm pretty sure they got done with Ed Harris. Like it was a wrap on Ed Harris after like 4 or 5 days. He's like doing you're getting really maximum You're getting the maximum bang for your buck on Ed Harris in this movie because he's in it a lot, but he didn't have to do that much.
Yeah. I would love more, though. I would love Ed Harris Private Eye.
Yeah.
The series.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about other movies that I would like that seem tangentially related to this movie, and that was one of them. I would like to see like Ed Harris's like career as a private eye, right? The other thing is like there's the little montage when we're getting voiceover from the Romanian stripper about her illegally immigrating to the U.S. To become a movie star. And like her journey, you see so much of it in the little montage where she's like in a trunk driving from Mexico to the U.S. and then she's like hiking across the desert and shit. And I was like, I kind of want to see her movie. Like I kind of want a prequel where it's like Sonia or whatever her name is, like leaving Romania to like travel to America, and we see what kind of shenanigans she gets into.
When I was reading the true story, it's crazy that they actually convinced her that they were spies.
Yeah, the whole CIA thing, that's real. Where, Daniel Lugo was like, yeah, I'm in the CIA, and that's why we have to kidnap this guy and steal all his money. It's because Uncle Sam's telling me to do it, you know? And she was like, oh, okay. And so she literally thought she was like a CIA asset, like a CIA operative. Yeah.
I don't think she got together. Well, I mean, The Rock's character is an amalgamation.
Right. Yeah.
But I think she and Lugo were together the entire time.
Yes, they were. Yeah. But in the movie, like he kind of passes her off to Paul. Which it is kind of funny because it seems like he doesn't really do that on purpose. It kind of seems like The Rock just sort of like moves in and then he's like, oh yeah, this was my idea all along, bro. Yeah, I gave you my girlfriend. You didn't steal my girlfriend. Yeah, I told you. No, yeah, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, well, there's a title that pops up that calls her the honeypot.
Oh, that's true.
And that made me think that it was like an intentional thing because this is around the time when The Rock starts becoming the weak link, and he's talking he's bonding with Victor, and is still really like on the born again Christian stuff, and is very concerned about the violence.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was a move to get some influence over him and maybe get like some insight into who he was. And I thought that's where the CIA thing was going. Doesn't really go that way.
No.
Because The Rock just starts doing coke and banging this stripper.
Right. Once they have the money, like once they get Victor's money, all the sobriety stuff with him just goes out the window.
Yeah.
It's basically like, oh, I have millions of dollars now, so I'm going to buy blow, even though I was like sober, you know? Yeah. And like once Paul starts doing coke, I feel like is when you kind of see the real Paul, like the Paul that we're introduced to at the beginning of the movie. It's like, this is a guy who is like trying to be on the straight and narrow, and then once he's like hitting the cocaine, you're like, okay, this is the real guy. Like this is what this guy actually was like the whole time, and he was just trying to rein it in, you know. So like some of the other funniest shit in the movie is like after they get the money, then Daniel Lugo moves into Victor's house.
Yeah, this is when we get the saga of Tom Lawn. So I was smiling. I was smiling for a lot of this movie. I think Tom Lawn was one of my few just like involuntary laughs.
Yeah, because the neighbor comes up and is like, "Oh, what happened to Victor?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, well, who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Tom Lawn." And he's like on a riding mower, mowing the lawn actively, like when it's so fucking funny. It's just like a guy who saw The Usual Suspects. And was like, oh yeah, okay, like Kaiser Soze, I understand how to do that. Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, all this grass that I'm on, yeah, Tom Lawn. Him setting up a neighborhood watch, like that is a thing in this movie where like the whole neighborhood watch shit feels unnecessary. It feels like you could cut that out of this movie and it would not affect the plot at all.
Yeah.
And yet I am so glad it's here.
I think it's better for it.
Yeah. Because it's like you just get to see these guys being fucking morons at every level of they've ascended the societal ladder. Like now they're in like a gated community and they're like rubbing shoulders with all of these like other wealthy people, and they're still just like incompetent, unintelligent assholes. You know, and like all of their neighbors are sort of like charmed by them.
Yeah.
Because they think that they have money, right? They're like, oh, you're rich like us, so you're part of the club, right? And it's like, yeah, but they're still like fucking doing blow and like bringing their stripper girlfriend around your kids. And Daniel Lugo's verbally abusing all of the neighborhood children.
God, the basketball scene's so fucking funny. And then if you're The Rock, he's actually doing blow at the neighborhood watch meeting.
It's so funny. He goes behind the backdrop and he's just like doing rails, and everybody is like sitting in lawn chairs being like, oh goodness. Yeah. And then Mark Wahlberg's like, oh, we're gonna have like a simulated like one of you pretends to be a rapist and attacks Paul's girlfriend so that we can like show you how to do self-defense or whatever. And all of the neighborhood dudes, like all of these fucking balding schmucks, are like, I volunteer to be the rapist. Because all of them want to just get handsy with the Romanian stripper girlfriend. It's all very again, that's a joke where I'm like, this feels misogynistic and gross, but it also feels like Michael Bay is commentating on it being misogynistic and gross in a way that it circles back around and is funny again. You know? It's like so much smarter than I'm used to this type of shit in his movies being. Where it's like, no, we're not just ogling a woman. We're like laughing at the guys who are ogling the woman, you know?
One of the things I find interesting about this movie is how it seems like what Michael Bay's trying to say is that pursuing wealth is just inherently evil and will inherently corrupt you, because the movie kind of starts with a bit of like an eat the rich tone to it. But you know, these guys aren't sympathetic. You're not really sympathetic to their cause as much as Shalhoub seems like an asshole.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's the crucial thing is it's like, it's eat the rich to become the rich.
Yeah.
As opposed to like eat the rich because like people who are that rich shouldn't exist, right? It's like, no, I don't want to redistribute this wealth. I want it to be mine. You know, which is a very like crucial difference that I feel like the movie does a pretty good job of showing as like a bad thing. You know, it's like, yeah, it similar to The Wolf of Wall Street. It seems like by depicting unrepentantly greedy people, the message of the movie ends up being greed destroys your soul, you know, and your life and the life of those around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg didn't have much of a soul to begin with, though.
That's true. That's true.
He lost that at age 15 when he threw rocks at a bunch of black kids.
I would argue...
and yelled the N-word at them.
I would argue Jordan Belfort also probably not that much of a soul to begin with. Guy seemed like he was kind of already an asshole. And that's the thing, right? Like money, the pursuit of wealth at the expense of everything else sort of is a pastime that attracts assholes anyway. That's how we get fucking the richest people in the world being like this. You know, is because like the type of guy who wants to do all of the things necessary to become the richest guy in the world is like already kind of a bad hang.
Right. That's one of the things about this movie and why I compare it to Scorsese is part of this movie is it's a rise and fall story.
Yeah.
And the movie has to intoxicate the viewer and get them invested in the lifestyle that these guys are living as they, lie, cheat, and steal their way to the top.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, like, with Scorsese, I feel like, not that he portrays them more sympathetically, because I think, like, Jordan Belfort is pretty clearly
that guy's a piece
unlikable.
Of shit. Yeah.
in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
But
he's like he's misogynistic and right.
But you kind of like seeing him, at least for me. It's been a while since I've seen it. You kind of like seeing him climb the ladder, though.
Right. Right. You like seeing him fuck over other rich people.
Yeah.
To get to where he is. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this one, it's like there's those brief flashes of them, living the high life and doing coke and cars and girls and stuff.
Yeah.
But you're never quite like on their side. You're never really invested in them.
No, because this
money.
is the white trash version of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the Florida version of it, where it's like in his wildest dreams, what Daniel Lugo wants to do is mow the lawn of a mansion and beat a bunch of children at basketball. Like, his dream is just sadder and more pathetic than Jordan Belfort's dream. And I feel like the movie does a pretty good job of depicting that, right? And it's like Paul's dream is to not have to be sober anymore because he has enough money for unlimited cocaine.
Right.
Right? It's like, that's what that dude wants. And like, Adrian wants a bigger penis. That stays hard. That's his whole thing, right? So these guys, like, their big dreams are like so sad and shallow and pathetic, And it's like when they achieve their big dreams, then they don't know where to go from there. Like, Paul's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do all this coke and like have sex with my stripper girlfriend, and then eventually the money runs out for coke, and he's like, well, I gotta get more money so I can keep doing coke, right? Because that's his only aspiration.
So I'm gonna rob an armored car.
Yeah, which happens around here. And it's like the only thing, again, that's like fully invented for the movie is like none of this shit happened. This guy wasn't even real. But it's a very fun sequence. I like this sequence a lot. This also is a sequence where I was like, The Rock action star sometimes works. Like, The Rock throwing people around in this scene. He's like throwing around these guys who are guarding an armored car and running from the cops and shit. I'm like, it's working for me in this scene. He's very compelling.
He did rack up a 5-star GTA Wanted level and escape on foot, despite the fact that he got his toe shot off.
Yeah.
Which is quite a feat.
Quite a feat. Yeah. The toe getting shot off and the shot of it like falling to the bottom of the river.
And then he picks it up. And then that cutting to him showing up at
Adrian's wedding.
Yeah, at Adrian's wedding.
He's getting married to Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, the wedding reception or whatever. I'm like, we missed something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's another 20 minutes of you escaping from the police that's just gone from this movie.
Right. At some point, he like got a rocket launcher and blew up the helicopter that was following him or something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there is no way that this dude just made it to this suburban mansion unscathed. But yeah, I like him showing up and like he's fucking off his ass on coke. And he's just like, oh yeah, I got my toe. I like that his toe is in a baggie that had been full of cocaine. He like repurposed a cocaine baggie to put his toe in.
And we do have Chekhov's toe.
Yes.
Later in the movie when he feeds it to a rat.
Yeah.
He feeds it to the dog. Picks it up.
He gives it to the dog. I can understand why you said rat though, because this is a very rat-looking dog.
Around here, Ed Harris has decided to take on Victor's case, and Victor's living out of a crappy hotel to avoid them.
Also, Ed Harris's character name is also Ed, so we will just always be calling him Ed.
Great. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And Ed Harris starts going to the gym and takes on Lugo as a personal trainer.
Right.
And dropping not so subtle hints about what the
Yeah.
crimes that they've committed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to kind of get him sweating or whatever. And it works. Like Lugo does give up some information, and
Yeah.
he like continues like kind of prying into stuff.
Ed Harris is looking pretty fucking fit in this movie too.
Yeah,
in that
he's
tank
like
top.
old man fit. Yeah.
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 Looking good.
I do like the scene later, like after he goes to the gym, when he's like coming home with groceries with his wife, and his like back hurts too bad, and he's got to lay down on the ground.
Yep.
And she's like, "You shouldn't have gone to the gym." Yeah. So like he's prying into stuff. So basically, like then The Rock is like, "We need more money," and initially Lugo is like, "What are you talking about? We got the money. We're good. You know, we got away scot-free. I'm not going to do another job." But then Anthony Mackie's like, "I also need more money for my dick injections." Because he just got married. He literally says, he's like, "I just got married and my dick doesn't work. Like I got," you know. So then they have this other scheme. Because earlier in the movie, like The Rock met this like porn producer at a club who was kind of a dick to him. And he's like, "Let's go after that guy. He's got all kinds of money," right? And this is, again, based on a real thing. They went after this guy who, like, ran, like, phone sex lines, basically, and had made a fortune off of that.
Yeah. Played by the character's name is Frank Griga. I think that's also the real guy's name.
That's the real guy's name.
Played by Michael Rispoli, one of our great mob character actors.
He's not in this movie very much, but I really liked seeing him in this.
He's great.
He's great.
He's so good.
Yeah. So they're going after him next, right? And they're initially going to try and do the same thing that they did with Victor, right? Where they're going to try and like get close to him, get some information, kidnap him, get him to sign over all the shit. But it goes really fucking bad. So like initially, like the initial kind of like wooing him is like working, where they're like pretending that they have like an investment for him. But then he like comes over to Adrian's house to like talk about this more, and he like wants to meet the board of the company. And Daniel Lugo, I like that like Mark Wahlberg, like I don't know if he's doing this intentionally or if it's just kind of Wahlberg's normal red-faced yelly thing that he does, but it comes across in this movie so strongly as like this dude is roid raging out. You know, he is like irrationally aggressively angry about the littlest things.
Yeah, I mean they're all playing things a little bit more heightened in this part of the movie.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of wish we had more of the drug use on screen.
Right. Like show us more of like him injecting fucking like Tren between his toes or something.
Right. I would like to see them fall to those depths, that depth of depravity.
Yeah.
Not that I can't like surmise that they're all taking steroids and on coke at this point in the movie, but like it'd be nice to have more of that.
Yeah.
To just make it more textual and show how bad things have really gone for these guys.
Yeah, mostly you just see The Rock doing like 25 rails in this movie.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even say this is like a great coke movie.
No, it's mostly just The Rock doing it.
Yeah, like I think Goodfellas or Scarface, those are movies that make you want to do coke. I did not feel the urge to do coke after this.
When The Rock is doing lines at the neighborhood watch meeting, that kind of made me want to do coke.
Wolf of Wall Street, great coke movie.
Yeah, I would argue Wolf of Wall Street, a great fucking Ludes movie.
I mean, the Ludes movie,
The
really.
Ludes movie.
It does not make Ludes look like they're particularly fun, though.
I kind of disagree. I saw watching The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, I kind of want to do Ludes.
You want to crawl around on the ground
and
like
drool a bunch,
yeah,
and be like a big baby, yeah, dude. I want to take that shit that make my body not work. I want to take that shit that makes my central nervous system shut down, dog. I want to become a fucking meat puppet.
Yeah, but I just want to take a nap then. Like, I just want to lie down in bed. I don't want to crawl around, though.
That's why I kind of think that if I ever did heroin, I would just die from it, because I would take it once and I'd be like, oh, I can just take this shit and have a huge nap. Fuck yeah, man. But I've never done it and I never will.
Mm-hmm.
But that is why indica is my preferred cannabis strain. because it just makes me
Because you
fucking-
like to take good nap. Big
yeah,
nap.
and it also makes my body feel like it's incapable of moving, right? If I smoke enough indica, I just like feel like I am locked in my body. It's the couch lock thing, right?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, yeah, that's all I want. I just want my body to feel incapable of motion so that I just like fucking sit down for a little bit. You know?
I need to buy more drugs.
Yeah. We should do more drugs. Anyway. Yeah, so like they get into an argument at the house. And I like you were talking about the Bay low angle 360 shots. This is really where that is showcased the most. Is in this scene where it's like you keep going through like the little hole in the drywall or whatever, and circling into the living room where Anthony Mackie and The Rock are partying with this guy's wife, and then it like circles into the room where he's arguing with Wahlberg.
Yeah, a stitched wonder that it's sort of like cheesy, but I'm also like, he's trying.
I liked it.
Yeah. What I really like is I think later in the movie, it's a scene in the warehouse where there's like that office area that has its own glass windows.
Yeah.
And it goes through a crack in the window, and then The Rock is sitting there, and it goes through the other crack in the other hole on the other side.
Yeah. Some of that stuff that's like, it's very Bay, like big filmmaking, like augmented with digital effects, but it looks good. He's got the budget to pull it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy eats shit here. He's like arguing with Wahlberg, and he says the thing that you as the viewer have been thinking the whole movie, right? Because like Daniel Lugo is a lazy, entitled piece of shit, right? He's like, he thinks that he deserves to be rich because he wants to be rich bad enough, you know? And this guy, Frank Griga, is basically like, you've never worked hard a day in your life. Like, you don't know what work is. You're lazy and incompetent, right? And it really sets him off. He like goes apeshit on this dude because he says this. But it's like, he's so right. Like, he clocks him perfectly. And I love that that's like the thing that like sends him into a rage, is like someone recognizing the type of guy that he is.
And at this point, they've gotten confident.
Yeah.
And he feels like he can get one over on him. And then when that's not shown to be the case, it just reinforces all of those things that he believed about himself before this all started.
It also like had me thinking about like manosphere shit again. Because like so many of those fucking red pill guys on the internet think that like women not paying attention to them or like being in a relationship with them is like somehow a failing on the part of the women, because they're like, well, I'm entitled to female attention because I exist, right? And it's like there's like a fundamental disconnect between like the thing you want and like earning it for those guys, you know? And it just feels so well encapsulated in this scene where it's like, that's Daniel Lugo's problem. Like, he's like the same type of guy where he's like, well, I deserve this because I'm me, right? Because I'm here and I want it, right? And it's like, no, dude, you gotta fucking do the work. Like, you can't just like, and it, again, it feels very prescient with like, you know, the Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson guys online, right? Where it's like, they're like, oh, like, you know, I should have a girlfriend because I'm a man. And it's like, no, you have to like be appealing. Like, it's, you have to be like competitive. Like, don't you believe in capitalism? Like, make yourself better.
Well, that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is part of it. Is it's a form of self-improvement for people.
Right.
But
right.
But it's done in a way that's
Like so
aggressive
Yeah.
and toxic, and dehumanizes other people in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very pointed, I think, that Mark Wahlberg's character continuously references the Johnny Woo character and brings up like Johnny Woo in the narration or whatever. Johnny Woo always says blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and when he's talking to, I don't even remember, some other character like says a quote.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, Johnny Woo says that," you know?
Yeah. he doesn't have his own personality or morals or he didn't earn any of this. He didn't earn his confidence. He didn't earn his the ability to scam people. He just kind of stumbled his way through it based on what other people told him.
Right. He just like lies and bullshits his way into like wealth and success, and loses it just as quickly as a result, which is like, it is like a thing where I'm like, yeah, Michael Bay really knows what he's doing here, because he always links Lugo's mindset to the American dream textually, like a bunch. And it's not just Bay, it's also the screenwriters. But it's like they link it so clearly to the American dream and the idea that like, yeah, you can like come from nothing and become anything, right? And it's like the movie is sort of like, yeah, that's bullshit, because all that is like a charade. It's all just like it's a pipe dream. It's like it doesn't exist. And if you believe in it hard enough, sometimes you can convince people enough to get somewhere, but it's like there's no foundation under it. It's all hollow, Like this whole fucking country that is like European colonizers stealing land from indigenous people, It's like none of it has any foundation under it. Like it's all a lie. Which kind of feels like a thing that this movie is like overtly saying in a way that feels a little subversive for a filmmaker who like has made so many overtly patriotic and like cop and military propaganda type movies.
Yeah.
It feels different for Michael Bay to be saying something like this, which is basically like, yeah, America is kind of bullshit. Like America is sort of the biggest con artist.
Well, yeah, You repeat the lie long enough and loudly enough, and it becomes dogma.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And, do we not have Daniel Lugo basically as a president currently?
You're right.
Yeah.
Probably can't do those bicep curls, though.
No. Oh, absolutely not. Not with that fucking necrosis hand he's got. That shit can't even grip a dumbbell. He tries to pick up a 40-pound dumbbell. That shit's falling off.
that posture is not going to be good for his bar path on his back squats.
I hereby challenge Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, to a squat off. If he can out squat me, I don't know. I'll buy a MAGA hat and wear it, But if I squat more than that old fuck, then I get to be president. And I hope send this to every conservative influencer that you can think of, so that hopefully it gets in front of him.
That Justice Burkett,
he's a very bad man.
Not a nice guy.
Said some very bad things. I listened to his podcast.
Terrible
very
podcast.
Bad.
No one listens to it. I'm told they actually have negative listeners. First time this ever happened, people. I don't have a good Trump.
He's got very bad ratings. I don't know exactly what it is where they do the ratings for the podcast, but I've heard that they're very bad.
Said very bad things about my squat, and this is great. Many people say I have the best squat they've ever seen.
Beautiful squat. I can squat more weight than anybody has ever squatted. Many people are saying this. Fuck that guy. I hope he dies soon. Not parody, not satire.
You were making some sort of point.
Yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is like all of this shit, specifically like Danny Lugo being confronted with the fact that he is lazy and entitled and has not done the hard work that he thinks he has done to earn his place, just feels very reminiscent of how white men in America continue to be. It feels more true now than it even did in 2013 when this movie came out.
Yeah.
Is I guess the main thing I was saying.
Yeah. But this guy gets a barbell dropped on his head.
He gets the end of the barbell through his head and a bunch of weight plates on top of it. It's pretty good.
I did like the line. I think Anthony Mackie comes in.
Yeah.
And he's like, or no, it's The Rock. The Rock comes in. He's like, "Is he dead?" And then Mark Wahlberg's like, "Well, the plates are flush with the ground, and his head is in between it, so I'm pretty sure he's fucking dead."
Yeah.
Something to that effect. And then he starts doing curls.
Yeah. Because he's got to get a pump on. Yeah, they go to Home Depot and like buy a bunch of. They buy all of the body disposal supplies at once from one store, which is just a really bad idea.
It's like Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad.
Right. And then they're gonna cut these people up. There's all the shtick where like the hair gets caught in the saw, they take it back to Home Depot and like try and return it.
Yeah. They did try to return the chainsaw in real life.
They did, because they didn't fill it with motor oil, so it just like seized up when they turned it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they start dismembering the bodies, like Wahlberg like uses the axe to like cut the hands off, and then we have like The Rock barbecuing the hands outside, which again, this was a real thing, where Daniel Lugo was barbecuing the hands outside, and like one of the other guys had to be like, people can see like you have a bunch of hands on a grill.
Yeah.
So maybe they weren't that much smarter in real life.
Anthony Mackie also like injecting this woman with horse tranquilizer multiple times. Hilarious.
It's very tragic that a woman actually died this way. It's really funny in the movie.
Yeah.
Both things can be true.
Both things can be true.
Yeah. And so like they dispose of the bodies, they like put them in barrels and like dump the bodies. But there's this whole thing where like in this whole sequence with the body dismembering and stuff, or before the body dismembering, we're like running up against the clock with Rebel Wilson getting home because she's married to Adrian, and she's like working a double at the ER because she works at the hospital. So she's gonna get home. So he's like panic cleaning the house and like cutting sections out of the carpet. So she comes home. There's like fucking blood everywhere. Her carpet's all cut up. She's like, clearly something is up, right? And then as this is happening, Ed Harris is also getting closer on the trail of everything. He's sort of found kind of a weak link with the manager of the gym who like notarized everything. Mm-hmm. So he's been like applying the heat to that guy. Their phone call is really funny. Or it's Tony Shalhoub who calls him. That call's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where he's like talking shit to this guy over the phone, and this guy's like sweating up a storm, just being like, I can't handle this pressure, Wahlberg says to Star 69 him, and he's like, you want me to have sex with him?
Yeah, and that's how they find out the hotel that he's staying at.
Right. Yeah.
I do like the scene where they go there and they start trying to threaten this teenager who's working the front desk and doesn't give a shit. And then The Rock takes out a baseball bat and he's like, "Oh, I could beat you to death with this thing.
I'm gonna crush your skull with one swing." And he's like, "Let me show you the pool, sir." Yeah, yeah, it's funny. It's good. So yeah, like the shit starts. The law starts closing in on these guys after they dispose of these bodies. Ed Harris has like gotten the cops involved. He's basically been like, "Hey, I think there's something here. Mm-hmm. I think you got to go after these guys." So like I don't remember like the exact impetus of how all the guys before Lugo get arrested.
But they do go to Ed Harris's house to try to kidnap him.
That's right.
But he comes home and they
in a squad car, like the police like bring him to his house.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh shit, it's cops!" So they like run away.
Yeah, they run into the sea.
Oh, that's what it is. So I remembered the thing, which is they go to the porn mogul's mansion, right? And they're like trying to open the safe with the combination from the wife before she dies from the horse tranquilizers, and it's like not working. And they're like panicking because they're like, well, time's running out or whatever. And the whole shit where they're trying to get into the safe and like Wahlberg's trying and then The Rock's trying. And then he's like calling Anthony Mackie for like more info from the wife, and she's like zonked out on horse tranquilizers, and The Rock is just in a pool chair drinking from a bottle of white wine, being like, "You get the code yet?" Is really funny. But yeah, so that's the shit that gets them caught, right? Because they go to the house. The Rock leaves his toe there. He gives it to the dog, and they like leave the house like in disarray.
They
right?
steal his car.
Yeah. And so like the cleaning lady comes home and sees that there's like some dude's toe here, and the house has clearly been ransacked. And immediately she's like, okay, I'm calling the cops. Right. And so like the cops have been hearing shit from Ed Harris, and then this happens, and they put 2 and 2 together, and then they just go after the guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little thing where they all get arrested. Anthony Mackie gets arrested at home. The guy who notarized everything, he gets arrested at the gym during a bodybuilding competition, which actually happened. He was actually arrested during a bodybuilding competition, which is pretty funny. And The Rock's arrested at church. And then Daniel Lugo flees the country, goes to the Bahamas, because he's like, Tony Shalhoub still has money in offshore accounts. I'm gonna get that.
Because the movie starts with him doing sit-ups, hanging from a bar, and then the cops pull up and he runs and he gets hit by one of the cars, and we think that's him getting arrested, but he makes it to the Bahamas.
Yeah, he makes it,
ditches the cops and steals and uses Tony Shalhoub's boat to make it to the Bahamas.
Yes, he jumps on Tony Shalhoub's speedboat and goes to the Bahamas. And then in the Bahamas, he like goes to the bank and is like withdrawing all of Tony Shalhoub's assets. And then Ed Harris and the cops like follow him to the bank. There's another little chase here. And then like he gets out of the bank, and Tony Shalhoub is like waiting outside in the car. and then like in a great moment of like poetic justice, this is not from the real story at all. This is just invented for the movie, but I love it as like a fictional like parallel. Tony Shalhoub hits Mark Wahlberg with the car because they ran over him with the car. And I love him driving into Mark Wahlberg. Like he drives him like into a wall, and then he like he gets out of the car and like starts dressing him down. And I love that he calls him. Let me find the exact word. He calls him a silly turd. He says, "You silly turd," which is such a good insult. And yeah, so they get him.
Yeah. And then we get the series of trial scenes where The Rock basically turns on them and testifies against them.
Yeah, he flips on them. He's born again.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm repenting for my sins. These guys are pieces of shit. They talked me into it. Rebel Wilson flips on Anthony Mackie, and she's like, you know, this guy's a piece of shit.
She insults his dick one more time.
Yeah, she's like, he has a tiny dick. It's like bent at a weird angle.
And then
that really made me laugh. Rebel Wilson on the witness stand was like my favorite Rebel Wilson in this movie. I was like, oh yeah, she's really doing it in this movie for me.
Yeah, I think some of the earlier Rebel Wilson stuff was better for me. At this point in the movie, I was kind of ready to be off the ride. But one thing that did bring me back was a real smoking gun from the case, which is the bodies of Frank Griga and his wife were identified because they were able to match his wife's breast implants based on the serial number.
Yes, the serial number of her silicone implants was the smoking gun in the case, that is great. And it's the first time that that had ever happened in a court of law. It's the first time that like breast implants were used as evidence in a case. Yeah. Great shit.
Yeah, dude. And then ends with Mark Wahlberg getting sent to prison, and
they get the death penalty.
Yeah,
which in 2013 when this movie came out, seemed like it was still maybe going to be carried out. It seemed like maybe Daniel Lugo and Adrian, whose last name I don't remember, were going to actually get executed for this. In 2024, their death sentences were overturned, and both of them got life in prison instead.
Yes, and they've been denied parole numerous times.
Yeah. And it sort of ends with like Wahlberg voiceover being like, this is just another obstacle on my journey to success. I'm still gonna make it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Which I love is like the ending note of this, where it's like this guy learned nothing.
And he's spotting a guy benching in the yard.
Yep.
Which parallels his start as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And we get more like the stuff you'd expect at the end of a true story movie. More
Right. Where we see like the mugshots of the real guys and
yeah. And the Rock's sentence is he gets 15 years.
Yep. Yeah. Which is one of the two guys that he's based on did actually get 15 years for flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain.
Directed by Michael Bay.
That's right.
Justice, is this the greatest movie ever made?
David.
Wait, let me try that again. Justice, bro. So is Pain and Gain starring me, Marky Mark Wahlberg, directed by my bro Michael Bay, the greatest movie ever made? Or am I gonna have to beat your fucking head in like a Vietnamese man?
David. Sorry, I was trying to do The Rock, but I don't have The Rock. He's just kind of... He's got sort of a deep voice, and he's a little gravelly.
Yeah, he doesn't have a
can't really
particularly
do an
distinctive
Yeah.
rock voice.
David. I liked this movie. I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was very funny. As a black comedy, a pitch black comedy, it works very well. A Michael Bay movie that we didn't reference at all, that I kind of feel like is the closest to this one, because it blends action and comedy, and comedy that kind of goes in a little bit of a darker direction a lot of the time, is Bad Boys. I haven't seen Bad Boys 2, but I've seen Bad Boys 1. And the Michael Bay movie that this feels the most like to me is Bad Boys.
Okay,
right?
I haven't seen either of the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Or the Michael Bay. I haven't seen any Bad Boys movies. So.
At least the first Bad Boys. This
Yeah.
movie is darker than Bad Boys. But the thing that kind of connects these two movies to me is sort of the simultaneous, like, it's an exhilarating action movie, right? Where your pulse is pounding. It's like you're like locked into like the action set pieces, and at the same time you're sort of like, yeah, but like what is happening is like violent and reprehensible, and like there's like weird, like he's depicting racism in a way that feels very like true to life, in a way that's kind of uncomfortable, where you're like, is this movie racist, or is it just depicting racists? And like the same with the misogyny. There's like gray areas in this movie that feel, for me, sort of like delightfully messy and complicated, right? This movie sort of is interesting to me because I'm like, how much of this is Michael Bay doing self-parody, and how much of it is just him doing his thing, you know? And it's interesting. And I like it a lot. I think it's pretty well made. I like a lot of the pacing. I like how this is shot. I like that it's sort of like an overwhelming assault to the senses for 2 hours that sort of leaves you feeling like burnt out, you know? And I like all the thematic shit that I picked up on that I already talked about at length. That being said, I'm not going to give this greatest movie ever made.
Okay.
I'm going to give this one a no. The main reason is that I kind of feel like as a satire, it doesn't quite go far enough for me, and I think that a lot of that's down to the script, like we talked about. I feel like the script sometimes is a little bit too shallow, and I kind of feel Anthony Mackie and The Rock, maybe less Mark Wahlberg, trying to make up for that, right? And I feel Bay trying to make up for sort of the shallowness of the script. But it doesn't ever quite get there. It's like these themes are hinted at and sort of like lightly examined, and I'm like, I would have liked a little bit more. This is on my masculinity is a prison list on Letterboxd, but it's maybe like a light entry on that list because it doesn't quite go hard enough into examining and deconstructing masculinity. It feels like a pretty surface level critique at times. So that's why it's going to get a no from me. But I enjoyed watching this, and I would say, if you feel like you can handle a movie that is like kind of like grotesque and misogynistic and at times quite racist, but does all of those things sort of as like a big middle finger to America, give it a watch. I would say I would recommend Pain and Gain.
Okay.
David, is Pain and Gain the greatest movie ever made?
So, this is not Michael Bay's best movie. This is far from his worst movie, I would say. But I think this is his most interesting movie.
Yeah.
And your mileage may vary. I told my brother to watch this because I still had the rental and he has access to my account that I rented it on. And he likes watching movies for the podcast. He's been on the podcast, in fact. Maybe we'll come back. Who knows? You want to come back to the show, Matthew? Let me know. I told him to watch this with the caveat that, like, I think this is an interesting Michael Bay movie, like his most interesting. But your mileage may vary. And he didn't like it based on his Letterboxd review. I haven't talked to him about it more. Which makes sense to me because I think this movie is so contradictory and difficult to analyze what decisions were made in this movie intentionally or just kind of came out accidentally in terms of some of the themes and the tone of this thing and the way certain things are depicted or the way certain performances are. Like, again, Mark Wahlberg truly cannot tell what this man is doing in this movie. But I can say that it is one of his best performances.
Yeah.
And again, like Michael Bay, I'm not entirely sure what the man is doing with this movie, but it's one of his best movies.
He's doing something.
He's doing something for sure. But I go back to, I think the script has problems. I think the movies that this aspires to be, I don't know, maybe could have been done better by different directors, but at the same time, I'm glad that this like grotesque, repulsive monolith to American greed and toxic masculinity exists and that it was directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I am looking forward to going back to this movie. However, it did kind of drain me in a way that I didn't fully enjoy. I also didn't fully hate it. I didn't hate this movie by the end of it, but I did want off the roller coaster ride at a certain point. So I'll go back to it, but it's probably going to be a little while. It's going to be like it's like a Sallow or a Requiem for a Dream, you know? No, it's not like that.
It's like Martyrs.
You watch it once every 10 years.
Yeah.
And again, like as much as I think this movie maybe exhausted me at points, I also kind of wish it went farther in other places and went even more ridiculous and extreme and over the top. I don't know. I'm torn on this movie in certain ways, but I also think it is very, very good, close to being great, and it was close enough that I wish I could say that it was great.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish I could say it's the greatest movie ever made, but I can't. So
Yeah,
it isn't.
yeah.
And it's also not The Rock.
Yeah, it's not The Rock. It has The Rock.
It has The Rock.
It's not The Rock.
It's not The Rock.
The Rock, not in The Rock.
More movies could stand to be The Rock.
Less movies, arguably, could stand to have The Rock. Although, you know, I haven't seen The Smashing Machine. People are saying The Rock.
I don't
Quite
really
good-
think
quite
The
good in
Smashing
that.
Machine's playing here yet, but I wanted to
Yeah.
see it. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Would love to see The Rock have a better career than the one he's had.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
because he seems like a good dude.
He does. He does.
And he has he should just stop doing movies like Red One.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess,
He seems
and
like-
forcing. The Rock should stop trying to force himself on us.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe less his fault and more various marketing people at studios sort of forcing him on us. I feel like it's not his fault that some of the like biggest budget, most like corporate boardroom scripts that exist are also the ones that he's getting sent.
Yeah.
You know,
And Michael Bay should take more risks like this movie instead
as
of
opposed
doing
to Skibbity Toilet. Although who knows? Who knows? Maybe Skibbity Toilet will be another scathing commentary on American greed.
Thanks for listening to the show wherever you are. Share it with your friends, your loved ones, the roided up guys at the gym that you hang out with and kidnap people with. Please be sure to follow us on social media on Instagram and TikTok, and leave a review wherever you listen to the show.
Next.
I was going to say treat people with kindness.
That's right. That's an important thing to say. I shouldn't cut you off while you're saying that.
Fuck you.
Also,
we're in dark times. We need to remind people to treat people with kindness.
That's right. Next month is the Halloween Horror-thon. This is the last week before the Halloween Horror-thon.
Yes, we're doing Halloween Horror-thon 3, Season of the Witch.
That's right.
And we're covering exclusively third entries in major horror franchises.
That's right, baby. So buckle up for some threes. Horror has a bit of a reputation for sequels maybe being diminishing returns, you know? I would say the more of a diehard horror fan you're talking to, the more they might add some nuance to that point. But as a general rule, threes in horror franchises, maybe not necessarily going to be the cream of the crop, but you might be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the ones that we're talking about, maybe people's opinion is turning into a mob boss again. You know, maybe some opinions on the movies have changed. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
People are saying it, not me.
Yeah, it's a critical reevaluation, you understand.
Yeah. We don't quite have the schedule finalized, so we're not going to give you all of the movies yet in order. We're trying to work things out with one of our guests because we're going to have a guest come back for this series, hopefully. But we do know what we're covering next week. And Justus, what would that film be?
Next week, David. One of our great modern horror franchises that is just wrapping up.
It's certainly one of our modern horror
One of our modern horror franchises that is just wrapping up now with a new theatrical installment. We're going to be going to the third entry of this franchise. I am, of course, talking about James Wan's The Conjuring franchise. And we are going to be talking about The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. A movie that I have seen and I am so excited for you to see for the first time.
It's a hilarious title. Did Wan direct that one?
I don't think Wan directed that one, no.
Okay.
No. He originated the franchise. I think by The Devil Made Me Do It, he was, doing other shit.
He was on his way out.
Yeah.
I have only seen the first Conjuring movie, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the third one, I guess.
It's fine. It's a standalone. It doesn't connect to the other one.
Okay.
You don't need to have seen Conjuring 2 to understand Conjuring 3.
So join us next week for spooks and scares and the continued adventures of the Warrens in The Conjuring 3.
An underground satanic cult labyrinth. Maybe that's going to be a thing that we're dealing with.
I think I found that band on Metal Archives the other day.
Yeah.
Until we see you guys next time, as always, later dipshits!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Greatest Movie Ever Made. Please remember to leave us a rating and a review, and to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We appreciate you supporting the show and spreading the word. Tell your friends to listen, tell your enemies to listen, tell your mom to listen. If your neighbor has an unsecured Bluetooth speaker, connect to it and play an episode. You can follow us on social media at TGMEM_podcast. And if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.